With the 5th overall pick, the Philadelphia Flyers are proud to pick Cutter Gauthier.
What the f just happened? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mason, and this is It's About Hockey. Well, I asked and I received. We got some more drama in the NHL this week, and it's from someone who's not even in the NHL yet. So, yeah, it's been a good one. If you guys haven't seen the news, which I'm sure you guys have, Cutter Gauthier has been traded from the Philadelphia Flyers to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, or the Anaheim Ducks, no longer the Mighty Ducks, for Jamie Drysdale and a second-round pick for next year, I believe it is. So, if you guys don't know anything about Cutter, he's been pretty much lighting it up, or he did light it up in the World Juniors, earning himself the top forward in that tournament. I think he got 2 goals and 10 assists, and obviously the USA walked away with the gold medal. So, and he was a big part of that. I actually really watched him and a couple other guys that were on the team. Obviously, Will Smith being the Sharks player or future Sharks player. So I was really heavily invested in the World Juniors last week. And yeah, the kid definitely can play. So yeah, I was pretty excited to see that, he was going to be going to Philadelphia eventually. And there's all this stuff that was happening behind the scenes that we didn't know about. We didn't know that Philadelphia was trying to get in contact with him to get him to come to camp and be more part of the team and sign with the team. We just now learned of all this past week, and I guess the drama's been brewing since last May. Now Cutter did go to the development rookie camp. I actually just got done watching some stuff on him in that camp and trying to figure out and piece this together, like why he didn't want to play for Philadelphia. And there's all these things in the media right now that everyone's talking about as to why he didn't want to sign, why he didn't want to play in Philadelphia. And right now it's all pretty much speculation. Philadelphia's management team doesn't even know. Danny Briere, Jonesy they haven't heard anything as to why, or they couldn't even sit down with the kid at the junior tournament to figure out what's going on and why he hasn't signed, or why he doesn't plan on signing. Philadelphia basically got reverse Lindros in this whole situation. Now, granted, he did put the jersey on and he did pretty much pump up the idea that he was born or made to be a Philadelphia Flyer. Dude basically was lying in his job interview, which is kind of funny if you think about it. The guy is only 18, 19 years old, so I can't really hate on him too much. At 18, 19 years old, you don't really know too much about the world and really what you want to do. Obviously, this kid knows he wants to play in the NHL, but he doesn't really know where he wants to play. Now, the other side of this, and I don't really put too much stock into it, is that he is, from what I've seen and what he's said himself, that he was a pretty diehard Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Now, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, same state, big rivalry. We know this. It's hard for me to believe that he didn't want to play for his rival team as a kid growing up. Or one of his rival teams growing up as a kid. I think the bigger rivalry probably in his age as a young kid growing up was probably Pittsburgh and the Washington Capitals, but there were still some good battles back probably when he was growing up. So it's just hard for me to buy into that narrative. The other thing of this, it's hard for me to believe and buy into is Kevin Hayes. There's reports out there that Kevin Hayes is telling him not to go play there. That's kind of water on the bridge for me. I don't really believe in that too much. There is one thought that I had that maybe it's because Trotz is there. We all know John Tortorella has a known history of how he addresses and treats rookies and players in general. Benching certain players, Cam Atkinson as of late. It's really hard for me to grasp the concept that this kid has never even stepped foot on NHL ice yet, and is refusing to play for a really dope organization in Philadelphia. Every city has its perks. Every team has its perks. And I don't really understand why we can't get an answer from him or his team, his rep, his parents, whoever it is, as to why he didn't want to play there. I guess they're going to address it sometime soon. I don't know. I just kind of saw a report today that they said they were going to say something. Well, this is pretty crazy. I'm actually in the middle of editing this video right now, and I look over on my Twitter feed and I see, or X, whatever we're calling it, and I see Cutter he's on Duck Stream, and he's giving us a response to the whole trade stuff going down.
So this trade has garnered a lot of attention and certainly some speculation just in your situation surrounding Philadelphia. So for you, what would you like to share from your perspective?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to talk about. I'd like to announce that it's the personal matter between myself and my family and my agent, Kurt. I did see one thing going around the internet that I would like to specifically address about the rumors about Kevin Hayes. And I would like to officially say that he had zero conflict with anything that had to do with the trade, and seeing all that stuff as pretty ruthless from what people are saying for that. But Kevin Hayes had nothing to do with the situation at hand, and can't really talk too much about it, but going to keep it to myself and my family and my agent.
I think that's a conversation you could have behind closed doors with the management team, being Keith Jones and Danny Briere. I mean, they flew out to Sweden to talk to him and get him to commit or sign or whatever, at least be a part of the organization and be part of their plans. If you've been paying attention to Philadelphia this year, they're kind of one of the teams that have been pretty much the shocker. No one really expected them to be where they're at. I've seen power rankings. I've seen fans talk on here about how well they've been doing. I watch Philadelphia when I get a chance to. They've been pretty damn good. And if they keep this trajectory going in the way that they're going right now, they could be a really good team in 2 or 3 years. I mean, they can get there faster. They've exceeded expectations for the season already. I mean, they're on a little bit of a slide right now, but they're doing pretty good. And Cutter is a top prospect. This kid, I mean, I've watched him, and I'm sure you guys have watched highlights of him at this point by now, how good he can be once he gets into the NHL and gets, pretty much his feet wet in that type of league. And, the resources the NHL has for a player of that caliber. Granted, he's coming from the U.S. development camp. He's now playing at BC. So, yeah, I mean, the resources this kid has now and to this point have been great. When he gets to the NHL, those things are only going to get better. So I can see the development in his game and his career really going a long way in Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia has its known history of just passionate fans. It's a passionate sports town. I just can't see why someone wouldn't want to play for them, other than the fact that, I don't put too much stock into him wanting to play for his rival team or his favorite team's rival. That's just hard for me to really believe. But I'm at this point, that's kind of the only thing that I can see. The other thing I can think of is why maybe he didn't want to play. Maybe he saw what was working behind the scenes internally. Maybe they didn't have the resources that he was accustomed to or didn't like. Maybe he didn't like some of the coaching staff. Maybe he was mistreated somehow. I don't know. To me, this whole thing seems like a spoiled little bratty kid just doing what he wants to do. And granted, he's now a young man. He can do whatever he wants. But this also kind of seems like, kind of a bitch move to me. The other side of this is that now Philadelphia has moved on from this thing. And now it's in the media, and this is where all the drama's coming from. I think the best response that we've got has been from Tortorella lately.
You've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he...
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, So, and I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie.
Actually, the whole Philadelphia organization's response has been it's been professionally throwing shade on this kid. You saw Jones's intermission report. You saw Briere talking during his press conference when he addressed it. Then he saw John Tortorella obviously saying he doesn't know Cutter from a hole in the wall, which is all-time classic Torts. But I just think that, they handled it as best they could. They made their attempts. They didn't get a response from him, his team, his parents, whoever, his agent. So it's kind of like unprofessionalism was being thrown at them. They couldn't get an answer. At least that's what we know. There is ways to approach this situation. It's just kind of funny. The whole thing is kind of funny. But yeah, we had some drama in the NHL this week. we're going to see what Cutter's team has to say in response to all this stuff. Kid still looks like a stud. I mean, he's going to kill it. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty damn confident he's going to kill it in the NHL. He just happens to be going to one of my rival teams now, the Ducks, even though I'm supporting Philly pretty hard today. Now, the other questions that we're all talking about and trying to figure out is, where does Zegras fit into this situation now? Everyone's talking about he might be on the trading block, and yeah, I don't believe in any of that. Not yet, anyways. We'll see. Zegras' game is not a complete game at this point in his career. He does pull off some nasty moves every once in a while, but that's kind of all I've ever seen from him. I don't really believe he has a complete game, and I know you guys are a lot of hockey fans believe the same. So if you do think he has a complete game or doesn't have a complete game, let me know in the comments and why. But yeah, well, so we're going to see what happens out of this thing. I just know that when this kid goes to Philadelphia for his first time, he's going to hate life for sure. Philly fans are going to make this kid hate life. And especially if Philly's good, Philly fans are going to let this kid have it for sure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. How do you think this whole thing pans out? Again, we don't know why this kid did this yet. So it's going to be interesting to see if it ever does come out, why he didn't want to play. And if it's because of something really minute, minuscule, whatever, if it's something really petty, I'm really interested to see what this is going to be. There has to be a good reason as to why this kid didn't want to play there. So yeah, let me know why you guys think he didn't want to play in Philly. And yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. Peace out.